Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 39 of Joe and Matty Talk New York Sports. We got all Yankees today. 39. We could go back to that. Who's number 39
I was
in
just,
any New York sports? I think
I was
Trevino is for the Yankees.
not really famous though. 39 is a tough number, huh?
I definitely can't think of any Rangers or Knicks with 39.
Oh,
I don't think.
well, I'm on this site and I don't know even what this site is, but it says NBA players. Kevin Durant, I guess, wore 30. John Stockton wore 39.
No,
Chamberlain. Oh,
Kevin Durant's definitely either 30 or 35.
this might have
He's
been at one point in his career. This site is it Dwight
let's
Howard. Oh God, this Dwight. Wow, there's nothing in basketball that I think.
let's see. Larry Sargent.
Larry Zonka. He was a pretty great
I
running
don't
back.
know. Jeremy
Minka
Grant,
Fitzpatrick.
Dwight Howard.
Wow. Let's face it. You want to break into the world. Number 39 is a good number because I don't see a lot of competition.
Now, being on a number note, do you think? Because there's obviously been
Dominic
stories.
Hasek. That's a
Do you,
pretty good one.
that is a good one. I think I had a strong argument, and maybe I'll start off a quick discussion topic on that. We'll make it quick. But I had an argument with my
Let me
dad
guess this
this
is hot.
weekend. Yeah, but
Okay.
it's
That's
you brought
fine,
up
though.
Dominic Hasek, but I don't think Marty Brodeur is the greatest goaltender to ever live.
Oh, that's your dad saying that. Come on,
What?
he's
But I want to
trying
know who do you think's the greatest goalie to ever live?
ever
Honest,
live.
no, ever play to had the greatest career ever. Just like we were talking about with baseball. Or who
I don't know. Like it for me.
do you think it's Patrick Waugh
Well,
or Hasek?
like when I was watching hockey. Patrick Waugh was the guy, but Dominic Hasek for a couple years was just downright impossible. Like the Sabres weren't that good. He was unreal,
But do
but
you
I don't
think
I don't think he
hockey's
was unreal.
hard? Do you think it's really hard to compare goaltending? Because if you look even to like when Henrik Lundqvist first joined the league, that's when the butterfly and going down on their knees became a thing. So you look at goals like even
Oh,
Matteau. What the Matteau scored one of the greatest goals in Rangers history,
I
but
think
that's a
goalies.
soft goal. I mean, that's
I
a
think
soft goal. So
goalie
like,
is the toughest. Well, I haven't thought about this enough, but obviously it's one of the toughest positions ever to judge because you go back to a generation where their guys weren't wearing masks. Like
yeah.
those guys are pretty badass
Well, that's
tough.
what I was telling. I was telling my dad. I was like,
Brodeur was
not
always
to
dominant,
ride
but Brodeur wasn't like
world beater.
flashy. Yeah, like he was just consistently good. He didn't have like Patrick Waugh was talking trash, making crazy saves.
Oh, I
Hasek
love
was
it.
always like sprawled all over the ice making saves. I mean,
I think though,
Richter was probably better than all of them. Van Beesborough.
I told my dad though, I was like, do you realize though? And I'm not trying to ride the Igor bandwagon, but Igor Shesterkin, the season he just had this year, blows away anything Marty Brodeur has ever done in his career. That is not a
It has
lie.
not blown it. That is a lie.
It does. It does.
Are you? But you're talking about regular season, right?
And playoffs. I mean, his playoffs
Uh,
were dominant. He was dominant in
Dominic,
his
you didn't
playoffs.
watch. Dominic Hasek was just as insane in the playoffs. Like he stood on
And
his head, and you got to remember in hockey, it also is how good is the team in front of you. Like I feel like the Devils and Brodeur.
that puts Igor even on a more pedestal because the
Well,
Rangers
I
were
think that
awful
also
defensively in the
takes
playoffs.
Brodeur back because he had a great defense in front of him that blocked
Niedermeyer,
against.
Stevens.
Yeah, they didn't score a lot of. They always played low-scoring defensive games, so he didn't have the same. Hasek was, I feel, and granted, this is all memory. I feel like he was
Well,
getting like shelled with shots all the
Well, that's
time.
why the Islanders. That's why the Islanders always have consistent goal. Like everyone likes to talk about like Semyon Varlamov, and he's always shutting out the Rangers every regular season game, or Ilya Sorokin, who's now like becoming a big deal. But the Islanders, they don't give up much. They don't give you a lot of shots. They
Yeah,
don't.
that's the way the
So
Devils used to
your
play
goalie
back.
stats are going to be top 10 in the league. If you're losing 2-1
Well,
games every day, you're
that's
gonna
why
have
they don't also spend the money on the goalie the same way,
it's ridiculous. I don't like playing the Islanders as a Rangers fan. They're a great defensive team, but honestly, they will never win the Stanley Cup unless they get more offensive players. I'm sorry. You can't have zero offense and win the Stanley Cup because that's what they are. I
Well,
mean, there's
The Devils used to kind of do that back in the day. I don't know if you could still do it because they keep
well,
changing
you
the
learn though
rules.
now with Colorado, and we've learned a lot of lessons in these playoffs. Florida, Florida had
How
one of
about
the
this?
most record offensive seasons ever, and Tampa Bay gave up 4 goals. No,
Yeah,
3 goals in 4 games to the
yeah.
best offensive team in the
So
league.
Vasilevsky has had a much better career. Like he's on pace to be an all-time great if he keeps it up.
Did you see how frustrated? I mean, look,
Listen to the
he was
stat though.
so frustrated after the game the other day, which I get it, Stanley Cup final, but you
In
sweat too soon.
1997-98 season, Dominic Hasek played in 72 of their games.
Okay, that's unheard of now. That's you don't even see 65.
Guess how many of shutouts he had?
12.
13 shutouts. 6 in 1 month. 6 in the month of December.
The shutouts are so weird, and I know I like them, but they're weird because for a while Igor didn't have any, and then when he gets a first one, then he's got like 3 in 4 games, and then he has none for the rest of the year. Like they're so choppy. They're like I think, and then we
In
can kind of wrap it up on
98-99, Hasek had a career best 1.87 goals against, 9.37, capturing his third consecutive Vezina and his
wait,
fifth.
what was the goals against again?
187 and a 930.
Holy God, that's got to be your.
Well,
I
he
mean,
got 3 consecutive Vezinas, 5 in his career. I don't even remember this. He was finalist for Hart and Pearson trophies, but the same.
I think Shesterkin could,
and he did
compete
it
for
on
that.
teams that stunk.
Well, then let's give a
And he
quick.
basically lost the Stanley Cup on a terrible call by an official, like one of the worst calls of all time.
Well, I want to see what you think about this, and then we'll wrap up our quick hockey segment. So then you've seen what Shesterkin did this year. Now, the way I kind of digested the last couple of weeks is that so now the Rangers have built up all this experience. Now they can. I feel like if they can just play a better defensive game a little bit, Shesterkin and the Rangers, in my opinion, could be absolutely dominant next year in the regular season.
Oh,
I might be biased, but I think
no,
with how
the way they're built to grow each year for the next couple of years, and they have tons of youth. I was reading about, what was it, Othman? I never can pronounce that guy's name.
yeah,
Othman
like
and the other defenseman that they have, something with a C. His last name.
Cully.
Yep.
Cully.
They're like, those guys just lit up.
Oh, they rave upon them. They're like,
yeah. So like, me and you are sitting here worried, like, Strome, this guy.
I don't think any of them. If I'm being honest,
that's what I'm saying. There might be a core of the Rangers might say, hey, like Drew might say, hey, we're not bringing those guys back. We're bringing in youth, and we're all going to go, oh my God, why are we taking a step back with all these kids? But if the kids are good, you sign these guys to rich contracts. You're going to be good.
Chytil to me is not. Yes, he's young, but he's in the league now 4 or 5 years. He's now it's time for him to put the pedal to the metal, and he's got to be at least at worst third line. Like
we're all. Hopefully, we're not all morons, but we all feel like all of a sudden the playoffs changed Chytil's career, and he may be on a trajectory completely different. Do we know that for a fact? We won't know it till we see it.
He was playing like Zibanejad's goal scoring streak when he was scoring all those goals.
Yeah, but
I mean,
short sample. Let's see if he could do it for a regular season.
But those when it was the most important. So that's what's also
but
fun.
When you're old for your career up until that point, you still have to take it. It could be a hot streak, and I'm not ready to give him $7 million a year.
If Chytil scores 15 goals this year, I'll be happy. My big guy, I want Lafreniere to crack open the 20.
I agree.
I think Chytil wasn't a first overall pick. Like 30. No, I want Panarin to hit 30. Which I think he will. But
did you see the rumors that he may be traded? I don't believe them, but there's rumors.
I'll cry if he gets traded. I'll cry. I'll lay on the floor and cry. Well, it depends on what he got traded for.
Watch the Rangers trading for Patrick Kane. It's like, what?
I wouldn't take that trade. Patrick Kane's not the same guy. He's still great. He's
I'm
not a
joking. I'm
Panarin.
joking, but it's like you
Well,
get
the
rid of one.
Rangers, the fans gotta get off this bandwagon. Like, look, I loved Andrew Copp's time with the Rangers, and I love Frank Vetrano, but they really were like, it's like you gotta be like, oh, we have to have him after this like 10 games he played.
What you don't want to do is sign guys like that for the next 4 years and then be stuck with them.
No, exactly. Like Copp's gonna want 5.5 or 6. I don't think he deserves that. I'm sorry. It's not. He was great with the Rangers, obviously, but I'd rather sign Vetrano to a team friendly deal or Mott over
I
Copp.
think that the
Like,
Cops, you gave up a first round pick, so people feel the pressure to sign that. Anyway, let's move on from
you'll
hockey.
always take I'll always take playoff time over first round picks. We've had 400,000 of them. They're all in the blue line, like Miller, Fox, Lafreniere. I mean, how many guys?
Pick a sport.
Like,
Baseball's even worse with the
oh,
prospects.
God.
The rate that they hit, the Yankees never will give up any of their prospects, and then
Well,
they
what bothers me is I love baseball and I love hockey. Hockey's my favorite sport. I don't know any of the prospects in baseball or hockey, so I don't even want to watch the draft. The NBA, or not even the NBA, the NFL, I know everyone. I
well,
mean,
that's
I was preparing for Trevor
I think
Lawrence in the first round.
I think baseball really wanted to make the push and get college baseball much more popular, so that there was that direct
I just don't think it
draft.
will.
I don't either. I think it's a very regional game, but that's what college football is huge, and that's
I
what,
think you're gonna say no. It's in my opinion. I think college football is way better than the NFL. I know you disagree.
I mean, when you're college football, I think is on the road to death with
Why?
the because these agreements that they're signing, the name and likeness agreements, I
Oh,
do
to pay the players?
it's going to screw
It
everything
is. It's
up
gonna hurt.
because they don't have a good plan for it. Like it's going to go in the toilet fast. Like when you have 18-year-old kids driving around $1 million cars and haven't proven stuff yet, it's going to be really weird. And just think if you're a school like, all right, obviously Alabama's going to have people who could spend money. Clemson's going to have people who could spend money on players, but it's going to be like an arms race of
But
which.
they only should be able to get money from where they are in commercials or endorsements. Not they should not be getting money from the university. They should not be getting money
Well,
from elsewhere.
how do you
It
know how it works? The
if they make
university turns around and goes to Bob Schmo's car dealer in town and says, "Hey, you want season tickets? Can you turn around and give this kid a car?" Hey, big sponsor that, or a
it's
big,
crazy.
Mike, your brother ends up being a billionaire and he's at Clemson. They'd be like, "Hey, can you pay this kid so that we have a star quarterback?" And that's going to Texas A&M. You see, they're already fighting over this already, over
Well,
pay.
this year
There needs to be some. The players should be able to get paid for their name, but the way it's going so unstructured, it's going to be
you're
a
in
mess.
college. You're getting a
And
free
certain
education. I mean,
and
like
but some schools will have no chance to compete. Like
no,
it's
and
just going to make it even just worse and worse. So I
no,
think
you're 100% right. I mean, but like what I think college football has going for it is, I mean, I went to a South Carolina game for the first time ever at Parents Weekend. They were not good last year. There's no chance of even
no,
getting
and
top
that's where you're
25.
right. Like the
But
big
they fill
programs.
85,000 fans. MetLife Stadium and a national pro team. I don't even know how many games do you think this year the Giants Stadium had 50% or more capacity,
There's no interest in going there, and the
and it's
tickets are
so
a
ridiculously
fortune too.
priced.
But the problem is like the schools in the SEC, they'll be able to do this, but other school programs will just never have a chance again.
Yeah,
It
no,
there's
it does. It sucks. It does.
the amount of cool college teams is going to go down, and that whole like we were getting
That
close
sucks.
in the last couple of years where teams like, oh, maybe Louisville could actually like break into the playoffs and have a chance.
Well,
That
their
stuff is
problem is it's great what we have now, but the worst thing about college football is you have your college football semifinal. I get it. The playoffs are a grind. But I'm not one of these people like 12, 14, 16 teams. I think you just need 8. Give them more there's no margin for
I
error. You
I
can't
so
lose more than
yeah.
one game.
They're
You
supposed to
like
be going
it's
to school for college. Physically, you just can't have it. I don't think you could have that many
I know, but
games.
Coach, think about it. Like,
I want the entertainment. You want the entertainment, but that's being selfish to put college kids who are supposed to be going to college to be playing 16 game seasons, then go play
but
multiple.
they only play, if you include the bowl game. I'm pretty sure it's only 13 games. That bowl
But
game's first week of December. Then you
what is
get
the
3
commitment to the
weeks
player
off.
though? They play all summer, spring. Like it's a job for them, and
Yeah.
it's
Well,
most of
my
them
hot
don't.
take this year is
I think
definitely.
college football is if they don't get the name and likeness agreements. I saw the ACC schedules came out today, but if they don't
Wait,
get,
what?
they
They
came
did?
up with how they're going to do it. It's going to be one big division, and then you
Oh,
have
yeah, I did see that.
three teams that you play. So your Clemson plays NC State every time. I think
You
they
know,
play.
I just hate that how it's just like everything's about money. Like, it's just
Yeah,
there. I mean,
but it's going to get worse now.
Clemson
Like,
plays their. I mean,
but
the
don't you
teams
think
that
it's
play
much?
this year are awful. I mean, the best team. Look at this.
But Maddie, don't you think it's better that when there's a chant, when all the fans, not all the fans, because that's not realistic, but like fans in Big Ten teams, ACC teams,
Yeah.
SEC teams, Pac, if they start the season thinking, hey, we have a chance to make the playoffs, what do we see every year? Alabama, Clemson, another
Mhm.
SEC team,
They'll go down. But
and
I mean,
Ohio State. But it's going to be
I got a
those.
taste of it this year, though. I mean, not every year is gonna like Clemson. This is the worst they've been in 8 years. That last season.
But they're just reloading after 10 years of
Oh yeah,
success.
they'll
They
be
still
back.
have all the money. They still have all the thing. And now Texas is going to be good. Did you see
But
that?
they'll never. Oh, Archman, whatever.
But since he
What?
got there, they got 7 recruits signed since he signed there. So
He's
don't
a
under.
traitor. He's a traitor for signing there. I don't support him anymore.
Why
Shouldn't
is
have
he a
gone.
traitor?
I hate Texas.
I
My
like.
my dad's got me
I.
so. I love.
It's a
I'll tell you
beautiful
why. Quick
school.
story. I'm sure it is. I'm oblivious sometimes. Like when I say stuff, I've never been there, but I know my dad goes West Virginia crazy, but I love watching. I'm a huge West Virginia basketball fan, and I love West Virginia football because everyone hates on them. So I like to be hate on me. But my favorite college football game I ever watched was with Will Greer, who's like the fourth string for the Panthers quarterback. They they are West Virginia went down the field in Texas, and they scored a touchdown to tie, or they scored a touchdown, need to kick the extra point and tie it. There's like 10 seconds left. They go for two. And Will Greer skips in a little QB sneak. They go right up to the student section. They go horns down, and they get flagged for it.
Yeah, I
And that's
mean,
when I became a West Virginia fan because
nah.
there's no reason you should be flagged
Yeah.
for that.
See, I liked University of Texas because when I was a kid, uh, Aunt Jeannie had moved down there, and she sent me some Texas gear. She sent me a Houston Oilers cowboy hat, and
Oh.
I had some Texas stuff. So for a while, like
Cowboy hat.
no,
I thought you meant
like
like a Dallas Cowboys hat.
no, never went that far. But yeah, it was this really weird. It was this huge light blue Houston Oilers hat, and it had the logo on the
Yeah.
cowboy. But and then some Texas Longhorn stuff. And my mom's mom lived in Texas for a while, so I rooted when I was growing up. I rooted for Texas until
I
your
have
mom
trouble with
was.
some of their. I don't know. I
Well,
don't
let's not
click with their
let's.
colleges. But
It's a beautiful
hot
campus.
take for NFL because I know we haven't started yet. Trevor Lawrence is going to be going off this season. Hot take. It's happening.
See, who cares?
I'll just say this to the
He plays
fans.
for
I'll just say
he
this to the
plays for the
fans.
biggest uninteresting franchise in the NFL.
I know, but I'll just say this to the fans. I'll say
Aren't
this to
you
the fans.
mad that he went to Jacksonville, the lamest team
Absolutely.
in the
If he
NFL?
went to the Jets would. I'm not a Jets fan, but they would have
Do
been.
you think there is a lamer team in the NFL than the Jaguars?
Give me a second to think about that because I'm sure I could come
I'm
close.
talking about overall, like when people perceive this team, it's not actually what you've done on the field, although they are in the running for it. I'm just saying, like,
Houston Texans are pretty low. I mean, I have not met very many
if there
Texans
was
fans.
one team you didn't want to, like, you were forced to be a fan of, like, and I would not want to. You know where I say this? When I used to work, we had a flag football team in Central Park, and the guy went to get us jerseys, and we're like, yeah, we don't care. Like, we obviously can't take the Giants, because someone else had it, and he came with Jaguars jerseys, and we were all like, "What?"
I would tell you the one
think of a
I
lame
would not want to
jersey.
be a I would not want to be a Washington fan because of the trouble, all the trouble they had with their racist name, all this now with
Yeah.
the upper level stuff. I wouldn't. I think the only fan I would want to be would be a Washington fan. I'd just be
They're
so embarrassed in my franchise. I mean, I like all
the
the stuff that they just do
Texans,
wrong, and it's
Redskins,
just
the Texans, Washington, Jacksonville. Trying to think who else is just
Philly.
total. I mean, we hate Philly because of where we grow up. I mean,
I want to be honest with you because we have a lot of hatred for some northeastern sports. Um, I hate Boston, and I know that's always been enemy number one. But man, I mean, I'm really starting to. They're not my most hated anymore. I'm really starting to grow upon the Pittsburgh Penguins, Pennsylvania sports are the worst sports. I mean,
you sound
their
like
fans are
Boomer.
awful. I mean, look, I'll be the first one to tell you this. Oh, Mike just fell over. But I hate the Red Sox with all my heart. I hate them. I hate them.
Hate him.
But
Worst.
their fans are just as loyal as Yankees fans are. They hate us for the same reason we hate them. It's true. We can't deny it. We think they're a-holes. They think we're a-holes. I mean,
I
it's
don't
so
disagree with that statement.
the passion. I respect them for their passion because I have that passion. Watching the Rangers go down was one of the hardest things I had to go through in my life, and I know that sounds.
Yeah, their passion is. I feel like the city of Boston is going through kind of what the New York went through in the '90s, except the '90s was driven. Rangers won, the Giants won,
Boston's going downhill.
but
The
they, but
Bruins,
they,
the Bruins are going to be
but
irrelevant
they,
now.
they just won a bunch of titles, uh, and I feel like once fans win a lot of titles, then all of a sudden it changes. Like that passion eases off. When the Yankees won a ton of World Series, all of a sudden you saw different people going to Yankee games, and it wasn't the core people who had all the pain getting there, and
Can
so
I
it,
tell you? I
it
want to tell you a
changes,
story.
and it will cycle back as you have years of losing. The real fans will start poking their heads through again, but anyway.
I want to tell you a quick story, and then we'll do a quick on the Yankees. And we'll close it out. So when I moved my brother in last week to Charlotte,
Who just texted me, by the way? Isn't that freaky?
oh nice,
And guess,
just
and he's
coincidence.
in Texas.
Yeah, he is. All right, yeah, that's right. He is for like some program, whatever. But his friend Brendan, who is from Massachusetts, he's a proud fan of all of his teams. His least favorite is the Red Sox, so I could support that. He likes Patriot. It goes. I think it's Patriots, Celtics, Bruins, and then Red Sox for him. But I know I cry and moan about it, and I know there's Cubs fans out there. But I still consider, even though the Giants won when I was 6 years old, that I've never really seen a New York sports
Yeah,
championship.
I agree with you.
Let me just go through what he's seen. The Boston Bruins won the Stanley Cup in 2011. The Celtics won the I don't what do you call the NBA? World title, whatever. In 2008,
Yeah.
the Boston Red Sox won the World Series in 2004, 2007.
You know, I have no idea.
No, 2000, 2004, 2000, 2011, 2018, and 2000. No,
Are you trying
2013.
to hurt me here? We know. I just said it.
Yeah,
They won
no.
a lot.
So that's just the Red Sox. The Patriots have won. So let's sum it up. He's seen 10. He's only 23, 24. He's seen the city of Massachusetts, or not the city, the state of Massachusetts, 10.
Yeah.
10 titles.
Why are we talking
Zero.
about this? Yeah, so and you know what?
Pain.
Your
That's pain.
first title will feel so much better than any one of those titles.
I just hope it's not the
And I
Knicks.
guarantee that for you. I guarantee it for you because when I was young, waiting and you get that one, it is sweet. But I will also say that when the Yankees went on a run and won a bunch, each one doesn't feel the same. It's always that first one that you are a part of.
Yeah.
That's exactly where it makes a difference. Anyway,
What's the greatest title of New York, or greatest New York sports title win that you've ever experienced?
the Rangers was '94. Just that whole season was the greatest sports of my life
Yeah.
because the Knicks went to the NBA Finals, but they weren't. No one was really thinking that was going to happen.
I just hope they're not my first. I want them to win. I just hope they're not my first because that's
No, I hope the Rangers and the Giants are yours. I think the Yankees are the odds-on favorite, though.
I think the Yankees would. I would be so happy because it's
You'll
just
be right back into it when you
I've seen them lose in the playoffs so often. Like I've seen the
yeah.
Yankees.
You
The
you
Yankees have
saw
more playoff appearances than any other my teams that I've watched for my whole life. So like
yeah. Well,
I've
see,
seen.
with them, you're like bored of playoffs. You need the next thing, and that's what
Yeah,
happens. Like
it's
with
not even
people
just
who want.
playoffs. I'm bored of like even the phrases DS and CS. I want to see a World Series appearance like that. Like that's
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
the
But
Rangers would be great because it's just so hard. I mean, you see how it's 2 months. It's so hard to win the
oh,
Stanley Cup,
did you
and
see the
it's
list of Tampa's injuries today?
no.
Oh my God! Let me you give something on the Yankees while I look this up.
I'll give you guys the starting lineup today. I
Well,
was so good. I'm
since
so
this
tired
won't
of
be
this
played
rest
today,
replay.
we don't need to do starting lineups for today. But another game against the Oakland
Oakland
A's, who are
A's.
the
They
worst
keep.
team in league. I see the Oakland A's being in Las Vegas in the near future.
I hope so to get out of that disgusting dump stadium
All
and
right,
just no fans.
Nikita Kucherov dealt with a meniscus injury during the
Oh,
playoffs.
that hurts.
Ryan McDonough had his finger, this is in quotes, mangled when he blocked a shot against the Rangers and played with it.
Oh, great.
Corey Perry battled through a shoulder AC joint sprain.
Nice.
Nick Paul had an MCL sprain as well as a shoulder AC joint sprain. Brandon Hagel suffered a fractured foot in the second round. Anthony Cirelli was dealing with a dislocated shoulder in the Stanley Cup final.
Oh my God.
I don't think we're
I mean,
done. I'm going to scrolling
this
to
is
the
what
next.
frustrates me about Gerard Gallant, and I love him. And he did a great job as a coach. But
Pierre
you
Edward
tell us what happened to the Rangers players. You only give us three. Like we know there's
Belmer
more.
Pierre Edward Belmer had a meniscus injury going into the playoffs. Braden Point was playing that whole time with a torn quad muscle.
Oh, John Cooper said he's like Braden Point. I mean, what a worry. Like him playing, he shouldn't play in a game till September. I was like, what? Like,
Yeah, he's playing with a torn quad. You know
well,
how
here's the thing. Tampa's got guts, and we do. I hate their fan base. It's a fake fan base, but you do got to bow down for what they've done. I mean, the last 3 years, and
let's hope it
my
falls
heart.
apart.
It's funny, but my heart hurts a little for Corey Perry, and I mean the long three
He won
straight
it.
years,
Yeah,
three
but he
different
did.
teams,
He
three
won a.
different.
I would feel bad if he never won.
Yeah, that's fair. What did
I
he win
saw
the
someone
Ducks?
on Twitter say something real funny, like it was for like a loser team. I think it was like Toronto or something. Be like, oh, we know we're signing to a Corey Perry next year. Oh,
Well,
so
they already
no,
came out with the power rankings to win the Stanley Cup next year. It's Colorado, Tampa, someone. I think the Rangers are top five. I think,
did you
which
see
is good.
Kreider had surgery?
Yeah, that was. These guys don't have they have no privacy. They literally gave the hospital, the doctor that performed the surgery. I'm like,
Yeah. Well, they do that
so
all the
does he have
time.
any privacy? I mean, like, come on, like
Yeah, well, for a wrist surgery, you know, they're a professional athlete.
we
People
need
want
our
to.
future captain locked and loaded. Joe, okay, I know you don't. I know you don't care about the captain,
I'm just
but
gonna get you a
who
big
would?
jersey that's just the whole front is a C.
I know you don't care, but if you were to pick your out of I'll give you out of Zibanejad, Kreider, Panarin, and Truba. If you had to pick or Goodrow, I'll put Goodrow in there. Who would you want to be the captain out of this five? You,
Truba,
not who do you
Truba or Goodrow?
why
You threw me
Truba?
off with Goodrow, where I kind of want him now, but I don't feel like he's been there long enough.
Why Truba? You can't have a guy who blows you the games. You can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He doesn't have enough. I will jump off the Brooklyn Bridge if Jacob Trouba is the captain of the New York Rangers next year.
Don't say that. Don't say that because it's
Well,
on
they said
recorded.
that they said in that someone they stopped. The plan was to name Trouba the captain, and it was stopped for some reason before the season. Why?
We're not gonna have another discussion about captains.
Defensemen are not captains. Final words. Sorry.
I find
Messier,
I
Crosby,
find that
Ovechkin, Bergeron.
I find that highly offensive as someone who played defense for a long time in my soccer career. That a
Well,
defense
that is completely different. Soccer is much different. Defensemen should be captain in soccer, unless you're like Alex Morgan. But like Hockey is a different story. I can't name one defenseman that's captain right now
Ray
in
Bourque?
hockey. Right now, I can't name anyone
Nicholas
in the NHL.
Lindstrom. Oh, that's
We can only say Brian Leach because Messier left. Didn't Brian Leach play for the Bruins? Did he play his whole career with the Rangers?
Yeah, I think he might have got drafted by the Bruins and never played for them.
Good.
Or he went to BC, but he's definitely has a Boston connection, but he played his whole career with the Rangers.
Yeah. Well, I know the captain issue stresses me out. I think it's just so plain and obvious how the teammates are basically couldn't be screaming to upper level management more for Chris Kreider to be named captain.
But they're not
because
because they don't care because it doesn't make a difference.
I like it though. It shouldn't matter.
As long as you have like the team that's aligned and with each other, you don't always need this one person. I'm looking at here's
But Joe, this is not football. You don't just give every single
Zdeno
player
Chara,
on the field.
Brian Leach, Larry Murphy, too old, Scott
Chara's
Niedermayer,
recent.
Scott Stevens was a tremendous leader. Chris Chelios, who you see all the time.
But these are all
Carlson,
90s.
Paul.
Now things change. Here's the thing. It's not.
Bobby.
I come from a realistic.
Bobby Orr, one of the best players of all time.
I have realistic reasoning, and I'll tell you why. Well, really, if we want to talk about who really should get it,
you're just making
Shesterkin should get it, but like,
goalies should never be captains. They're not on the ice. They don't talk to the players. There's no other.
They're on the ice the whole entire time. No, but like, last 2 notes on hockey, and then we'll make one quick note on baseball and end it. I'm sorry, we're going off the rails here. Not scripted today.
These.
Hockey takes me wild ways, but here's the reason. He's the last one off the ice. He gives everyone a hug. They come up to him. We look to him as a leader. We look to him as a physical forward. He's your leading scorer. He's your longest tenured player. He's the only one he's only one of the alternate captains that's played in the Stanley Cup final. Which is huge. That means much more than people think. So that's my resting argument. Everyone loves him. Look at Mika Zibanejad, your best player. No, Shesterkin is. Best skater. And I don't know where I was going with that point. They're winning the cup next year. Ended on them. I have one more talking point for baseball.
All right, what is it?
Aaron Judge got interviewed after hitting a walk-off homer against the Astros, and it sounded like what he said to the mic is that Meredith Marakovits asked him about how you stay composed, and he said, well, when you're the best player on the team. Now, everyone thinks he said when you're the best planet on the team, but meant to say when you're the best team on the planet. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think he said? Do you think he said best player on the team or meant to say best team on the planet?
I'm sure he meant to say best team, but everybody slips up.
He's not wrong. He is the best player on the team. It's not even close. But
that's a very un-Aaron Judge statement.
100%. I mean, they asked Cameron Maben. Cameron Maben said he's always a team first guy. He's always.
Who cares?
The tabloids love it. They take it out of proportion.
Well, that's their job to make news out of nothing. But that's why.
Well, I say that because I listen.
By
to
the way,
Gio.
The Nashville Predators captain plays defense.
Roman Yossi, Wild, you're right. I'll give you
the Minnesota Wild, who are a good team.
Spurgeon.
He was the captain. Yes. And there was also the Canadians didn't have a captain. The Flyers didn't have a captain.
Why do you think
Kraken didn't have a captain?
Well, the Kraken don't even know who they are. I mean, their players aren't going to be there. That doesn't help.
I think it's a player voted thing, and it means nothing to me.
But why do you think Trouba should get it? Because he lays hits. I mean, that's all he does. He stands
up. He stands up for his team. He's put Keandre Miller in his house, and he's put other players in his house, taking them to dinner.
Keandre Miller's better than him. I mean,
yeah, but you don't get it. It's like mentoring someone to understand how it is to play in the NHL. He's investing a significant amount of his time to help bring along players on his team. He is making the added effort to his team at his personal sacrifice. That's a captain, not the best player on the team.
Chris Kreider is not the best player. Chris Kreider stands up for everyone. I mean, he is.
I don't disagree with you. I disagree with the point that it makes a difference. And
It just
we're
makes
going
me
to end
feel
this here
better.
because we've
It
had
makes me feel better to be like, oh,
Are we
that's
going
my
to change this to the
captain.
captain's podcast? This is all we ever talk about. This is the most
Well, it's
ridiculous.
like, no, it just it's not that I think it's that important. I think it's just cheap. You going out here, like, what is this, a little league team? I mean, you can pick if you're okay. My thing is at this point, I don't want you to get it. Pick someone though. Enough of this, like, but Joe, 6 people.
Who
Pick
cares?
someone.
Best season we've seen since '94. So why do you care? It worked. Worked really well.
Who's going to pick up the Stanley Cup if you don't have a captain?
Mark Messier. The person who scores the game-winning goal. These are all trivial things. Like, who cares about
like who? But it's
if
it's that
Shesterkin
moment as a
stands,
fan where you're like, my captain's gonna go get the Stanley Cup. Oh, but we don't have a captain. I mean, like, that's where it frustrates me.
win the cup and then worry about silly things.
Because you
what
see
T-shirt you're gonna wear.
Landeskog, and I just can't wait for the Rangers, who hopefully win a cup with this group.
With that, let's end it there, as we have gone on and off the rails. Back to the captain conversation, which we don't want to go.
Well, next episode will be episode 40. We'll be celebrating. It'll be more composed. We'll have hopefully more things to talk about. I know fans want hockey to go away. I don't, but it might be come back. We might have some news in a couple of weeks with free agents.
We're hoping there'll be some Nick news to talk about. Spring training or the NFL is not too far away, which is my favorite thing to talk about. And before you know it, we'll see. But hopefully the Knicks make a trade and don't look like the utter disaster
it's always.
The Yankees, I'm nervous about getting too excited till we turn the All-Star break corner, but we'll get there.
Well, it could be a very, 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 very busy October if the Yankees make the playoffs. We'll have to cut so many segments. We'll have 4 teams playing. And
we'll be moving to a new circuit around then at 50 episodes, so be ready. But I love you, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon.
Love you too. See you guys.
Bye.